Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, man. It's that time of the year, the month of March, and we always do this, the top 3 baits for the month of March, but we're gonna break it down even deeper. I'm gonna simplify your color approach. You know, a crankbait's a great bait in the month of March. We're gonna dive off and tell you 3 colors that you got to have in your arsenal to simplify your arsenal the next time you go out on the water in the month of March. All right, so, you know, we do these top 3 baits all the time, and you know, it's a great video series. You can go back and watch my March one from last year. You can, you know, watch February. You can watch next month's April. But I want to do something a little bit different this month. You know, I want to help simplify for that angler that gets overwhelmed when they walk down that tackle aisle. I mean, there could be 15, 20 colors, all of the same bait. And it just gets overwhelming. Like, you know, if you're walking down there and you just don't know what to get, I want to try to help simplify that. You know, maybe it's a kayak angler, maybe it's a bank fisherman. You know, you don't have a Z21 here that you can just have a big old box of baits in there. So, you know, it's really pretty simple. If you can break it down to 3 colors, and one thing that I always live by is you know, the wrong bait in the right place will catch them. You know, it may not be the perfect color, but if it's the dive in the right depth, if it's the same size as the forage, a lot of times the bass are going to eat it. You know, they're looking for their next meal. You know, they just want to get a bite. So I want to break it down as far as like 3 color crankbaits that you need to have tied in the month of March. And the crankbait that we're going to talk about is the frit side. And why this bait is so good in March is, one, it's a silent bait. It's, you know, I feel like a lot of times in the spring, you know, those fish just come up. I feel like they're spooky. I feel like, you know, maybe they're afraid of their surroundings a little bit, especially in dirty water. You know, like a lot of times, you know, you've caught bass that have had a heron scar across their back. You know, those fish can be spooky. The shallower they are, the spookier they are. And you know, maybe boat presence too, you know, pressure on the water. That's why I like a silent crankbait. The other thing I like about a frit side is it's a tight action. It's just a very subtle action coming through the water. It doesn't have rattles. But what separates the frit side from other flat-sided crankbaits is it has this disc weight system in it, so I can cast it, and it keeps that action to it. So, you know, now that we've talked about the bait and why, let's break it down to 3 colors. You'll notice right here I've got Special Red Crawl, which is just a must-have when you tie a crankbait on in the spring. You know, this color right here, just, you know, when the water's cold, I don't think they always think it's a crawdad. I think it's a color they can see when the water's cold. And it just really shines all across our country when you got that cold water, that Special Red Crawl. That's like my #1 color that I'm gonna have tied on in the spring. So now we've got that covered. Now if you know, this color I'm gonna have tied on, I'll throw this thing in really clear water, you know, 3-foot visibility to 6-inch, 8-inch visibility. I mean, this is gonna cover a lot of those scenarios for me. You know, obviously the clearer the water, I wanna throw it on a cloudy day. When it's stained, you throw it on whatever, it doesn't matter. Now, my next favorite color, Honey Shad. I love this color. So like if I feel like the water's a little cleaner, I feel like maybe they're just not eating that red one, I'm gonna have a Honey Shad tied on. It's a great imitator of a shad bait. It's got a really contrasting black back, white side, black back, white side as that thing's flashing through the water. It's just a color that I've gotta have in my arsenal when it comes down to time to have something like that tied on. Then last but not least, when you get those really clear conditions, or you get those calm conditions like what you have today, like a Ghost Morning Dawn, a see-through bait. You know, to me, that's just a great bait. When you have those really tough conditions, those calm conditions, that really clear water, that Ghost Morning Dawn is gonna be the color that I'm gonna tie on when I have that situation like this, you know, out here on the water. It's just a really good clear water bait in those instances. Now, one thing I will do on all my crankbaits, I will change it from a round bend treble hook to a EWG style treble hook. I think that's got a better holding power when a fish eats it. And then the other thing that when you go to throw your crankbaits in the spring, bury that retrieve. You know, don't just throw it out there and just wind it in. I mean, you can catch fish like that, but I like to throw it out there, wind, pause, pull, pause, pull with pause. I do lots of pause, and I might speed it up, then pause it. You know, I do all kinds of different retrieves to try to trigger those bites, and that's what a crankbait does. It triggers bites, you know, for those bass. You know, when I go to throw this bait, I'm generally gonna throw it on 12-pound test 80% of the time. Now, there are times that I need to get it a little deeper. I'll go to 10-pound test, or if I need to keep it a little bit shallower, I will go to 14-pound test. But I throw it on a 7-foot medium heavy action rod, a slower gear ratio reel. You know, my reel is like a 6/8-to-1 reel, but those are the things, the modifications that I make to it. You know, the other thing, make sure that you tie that bait right there where that split ring comes together. That's where I want that knot to be. I don't want it to be on the opposite side, because, you know, sometimes that can, when that split ring's hitting that eye coming through the water, it can make that thing dive off to the side. So if I tie it right there where that split ring comes together, I know that that the opposite side of that eye is gonna be good. And then if it's running off to the side just a little bit, I'll make that adjustment with pliers. I'll just tweak it over a little bit. You know, if the bait's running over to the left, you wanna bend it to the right, you know, vice versa. Make sure that bait's running straight, running true to get the most amount of depth to it. But you know, a great bait to throw on riprap, over grass, off the ends of docks, you know, pea gravel banks, chunk rock banks, ledge banks. The flat-sided crankbait is a bait you need to have on in the spring. I've narrowed it down to 3 colors. By no means it's the only 3 colors, but these 3 colors I can go do whatever I need to do anywhere across the country. And it's a great bait in the month of March. And with that said, you know, we always give away a Plano tackle box each month. I'm gonna have these 3 baits in this box right here, and I'm gonna just randomly pick, you know, 3 of you subscribers. So just be sure you like and comment my video. I'll go down through there, I'll randomly pick them just like we did for February. And you winners for February, you need to look down in the description below. I've got your names listed in the description below. Send me an email through my website, really simple. Just go to edwinevers.com and there's an email link down there in the bottom. Send me an email over there. I will mail you a Plano box just like this with these 3 baits in it to 3 of you guys for just following along, liking my channel, and supporting the channel. So guys, I hope this helps. Want to wish you all the best. Get out there, catch your best one this month of March, and good luck to you.